sophomore Tiffany Mitchell do an opening statement from head coach, and then questions for our student athlete.
I'm just really proud of how our team performed today. They had a will to get to the Sweet 16, and they weren't going to be denied. And I was really proud of their effort and them taking care of business.
Derek?
You guys got to the free throw line 43 times tonight. I mean, just talk about just wanting to be on the attack and just how physical you guys wanted to take it to them to get that early lead.
We knew from the get-go that we wanted to be aggressive, just kind of not back down to their size. One thing we emphasized was just going right through them, not trying to go around them, not trying to go over the top, just going right through them, taking it right to their chest. And I think it paid off. We got to the free throw line and we capitalized at the free throw line also, which was a big key, especially late down the stretch of this game. So I just think everybody did a really good job of executing the game plan as far as being aggressive and going to the rim.
Joe?
How sweet is it to be moving on, knowing you're going back to California to play the Sweet 16?
Very sweet. It's my first Sweet 16, so this is a great feeling, and I'm just glad I could be a part of this.
Dave?
Khadijah, it seemed like you were really up in Sydney Weiss's face early, kind of making her uncomfortable, making sure she couldn't get an open passing lane. Just how do you think you played on her defensively? Because obviously she only went 3 or 15 from the field.
Tonight was a total team effort on her. Coach just told me to stay locked into the game plan and stay disciplined on defense, and I think I did a good job with that. And we, threw a lot of fresh bodies at her, and we made every shot difficult for her and made sure we contested all the shots because she is a very great player. She knows how to get her shots off and everything. So Coach just said stay disciplined, keep her in front of us, and I think that's what we did. Total team effort.
Derek?
For either three of you, you guys obviously had a disappointing loss to North Carolina earlier in the year. How much motivation does this give you guys now that you're seeing them now for a do or die opportunity?
I think it gives us a lot of motivation because there's a lot more at stake, this time around. We can kind of go back and we dug ourselves into a hole to that game, and we can't afford to do that this time around. Like you said, it's we're gonna go home now, so we definitely got to come out, execute our game plan. Watch some film on them, just kind of see what we can do better this time around. They're a very talented team, so you got to lay it all on the line at this point. So we're excited to be able to see them again because this is definitely a matchup we wanted to see later on in the season.
Jada?
How did you kind of feel like the game was?
Can you repeat the question?
When did you feel like the game was off? It seemed like they kept trying a little bit early in the first half to come back, and obviously they were hitting three-pointers. So did you really feel like that type of control?
Like you said, they hit some timely three-pointers, so we couldn't really get too comfortable with the lead because we knew they had a run in them as well. So we just tried to, keep up the intensity and just try to keep them out the game. But they did hit some timely three-pointers, but we just pulled it out there.
Joe?
DJ, can you just talk about the way you guys were able to disrupt what they wanted to do by using your quickness and your speed and athleticism on both ends? It really seemed to play a big role in what you guys were able to do execution.
We just had to stay focused into our game plan, really focused in on our game plan. And everything that we went over in practice, we capitalized in the game today. I just think, like I said, total team effort and everything we did on both ends of the floor. And like I said, just give all the props to my team because we, capitalized on the game plan.
Dave?
Tiffany, you're scoreless in the first half, scored 20 in the second. Just what did you tell yourself at halftime, or did Coach talk to you at halftime and kind of get you started?
My teammates, they just kept encouraging me. They knew my shot was coming. They just told me not to, rush and not get down on myself. So I didn't try to force anything in the second half. I just kind of let the game unfold, and that's what happened in the second half.
Derek?
This might be a question for the lady sitting to your right, but is this a 24 hours, is it 48 hours? What is this after this win?
I think we can enjoy it for now, but I think the same rule still applies because we have to get our sights set on what we have coming up. It's a big game. It's going to be a tough game for us, but for now we're going to enjoy the win. A lot of our team hasn't been in this position before as far as going to the Sweet 16, so it's new and it's exciting. But we still got to do what we got to do. We're not satisfied with making it to the Sweet 16. We want to make a deeper run in this tournament. And, we can't really just get caught up in the fact that we're here because this isn't, where we want our season to end is in the Sweet 16.
Joe?
The three of you, watching all year, this is the most focused I've seen this team and dialed in from an intensity standpoint. I know it's because if you lose, you go home, but with everybody so dialed in, who's guiding this? Who's the leader? Who's the voice? Or is everybody this is everybody, and it's the fire and the passion, you just see it the court side from every single one of you guys are playing.
I think we all do a really good job as far as keeping ourselves focused and keeping our teammates focused. I give the coaching staff a lot of credit. They never let us get too high with the highs or too low with the lows. After the SEC tournament, we came in with a different mindset. We stringed some good practices together. We came in, we got the jitters out in our game the other day. We played really well today. So, it's just a matter of us holding each other accountable. You can't afford to have any slip-ups. You can't afford to have someone not staying within their role or someone, not bringing to the table their maximum potential. So, we do a really good job of just staying on each other. And we built that relationship with one another where we're able to take that constructive criticism from one another, and it shows now because everybody's locked in and everybody's dialed into what we need to do.
We've got time for 2 more for student athletes. Derek?
Kind of what Lisa just said. Do you guys feel like that you were more comfortable playing in this environment the second time tonight as opposed to that first game when you did have some of those jitters?
I think so. First game, we like you said, we had to get out, first game jitters, but I think we settled in and let the game plan come to us, and we just executed.
All right. Thank you, ladies, and congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach? Jada?
Just kind of a smile or laugh, and the question was asked today, what happened.
Thank you.
Tiffany felt to tell you guys, Tiffany was talking to herself throughout the second half, so no one really said anything to her besides herself, and she was actually answering her own questions. Out loud, yes, yes.
Larry?
Coach, what was your strategy on Weiss that led to her shooting?
I think with Weiss, you just have to maintain pressure on her. You got to try to disrupt the flow of what she's trying to do. I thought we just tried to speed her up and not let her get comfortable in taking her normal shots. And I thought Khadijah, and I thought Tiffany Mitchell, and then everybody that had Olivia Gaines, all of them that had a turn on guarding her. They were all different looks. Olivia played a little bit underneath her. Tiffany Mitchell was a little taller, so she tried to take her vision away. And then Khadijah, I thought she used her speed and just was real disciplined in staying in plays and making sure she shot over a contested hand. Michelle?
When Scott was in here, he talked about the teams they've played this year, you guys, Notre Dame, Stanford, and he said the things you guys have in common is that you answer when somebody challenges you. Did you feel like you guys answered tonight when Oregon State was hitting shots and trying to get back in the game?
Yeah, I thought we knew it was going to be a tough, competitive game. I think they're extremely balanced. They got scoring and they're skilled and they got balance on the inside and outside. And I just thought our players were up for the challenge. I thought they wanted to get to the Sweet 16 more than anything, and I thought we did answer, time and time again when they were able to knock down shots and closing on the lead.
Dave?
Dawn, obviously, Oregon State shoots a lot of three-pointers, but you guys had a couple of three-pointers go your way. I think you ended up being 4 of 6. It hadn't been a thing that you've depended on, but how confident are you that you can hit the threes when you absolutely have to?
Well, I think when we're selective and we take when the three is the best shot on the floor, I think we're pretty good at it. We're not a team that's going to just keep jacking them up, because our strength is inside. And we were able to go inside. It opens up the floor for us to get those type of threes that we were able to hit tonight. Jeff?
That was a pretty simple question. How sweet is it to get back to your second Sweet 16 with this program in 3 years?
I mean, it's awesome. I think our players, I think we've all, we want to win a national championship, and the way to do that is to continue to play on the second weekend of the tournament, which is the Sweet 16, and I'm extremely happy for our players. I think it would have been disappointing if we were, not sitting here getting ready to play in the Sweet 16. So I'm happy that they were able to hone in on the challenge and come away with the win and continue to play.
Derek?
Coach, you mentioned yesterday that you cut off the head. How nice was it to see the way your team was able to execute the game plan on a stage like this?
I think it was extremely awesome, the way our kids performed. That's a hard feat, Sydney Weiss is a really good player. She really is. She can stroke it. She can find other teammates. She controls the tempo. And I thought we did a terrific job at controlling all of those aspects of her game. And the only reason why we win this game is because we don't allow her to get her average, and we don't allow her to comfortably play in the flow, of their offense.
Michelle?
Don, there were a lot of coaches that weren't thrilled about the idea of going to campus sites for regionals, and maybe you don't look ahead until you get there, but now you're headed to Maples. Do you have any thoughts about having to play on campus on the floor?
Yeah, I think it sucks. I do, but I think the people out at Stanford, they appreciate good basketball. I know that because we played out there on a number of occasions. But when it's the Final Four at stake, I think it should be at neutral sites. I think it should be in a position where it equals the playing field for all competitors. We're just not there yet. Next year will be an opportunity for us to, kind of see and play where the field is a little equal.
Tim?
Dawn, I think you're the fifth SEC team to get to the Sweet 16. Is that what you expected from the conference?
Well, it doesn't surprise me, because of what we do to each other in our league. And I think what we've been able to, do is draw on our experiences within our league and have some success outside of it. So I'm, extremely proud. That was one of the first questions I did ask after the game, is how many SEC teams survived and moved to the Sweet 16. It just goes to show, that, I think our conference is the best conference in the country. And, for us to have 5 out of the 16 teams still participating in the tournament and going to the Sweet 16 is proof of that.
Dave?
Donna, two questions here. One, I think you had 34 free throws tonight, which is a Staley era high. Could you talk a little bit about that? And also, North Carolina, Stanford, even Penn State, you've seen these teams very recently. Do you feel like you maybe have an advantage in scouting them?
Really proud of the effort, from a free throw shooting standpoint, percentage-wise, and the amount of times that we got to the line. I think a lot had to do with them fouling us at the end of the game, but we were able to make them and seal the deal. And then as far as the competition, Penn State, Stanford, and North Carolina, they're all playing great basketball at this point. I'm looking forward to the challenge of it. I think, having some familiarity with UNC. I also have one of our former assistant coaches at Penn State. So, we've talked all season long. I hope we end up playing each other. That means that we both advance to the Elite Eight. But just excited for the challenge of playing, some great competition.
Joe?
Coach, can you just talk about it, just in terms of the growth of the program, just looking at the players tonight, just to see how each one was so good, and does that give you confidence going forward in this type of setting that at any given moment, if the team's making a run, anybody on that court at any given time is liable to step up and make a shot?
I think when we're locked in the way we were today, the people that we inserted into the game were really locked into the game plan. I think a lot had to do with our leaders, a lot had to do with our coaching staff, just staying on top of our players, because we always talk about opportunity. We don't know when this opportunity is going to come, so we wanted to seize the moment, and I thought, we just honed in and locked in on the game plan, and it was a beautiful thing to see unfold.
Daniel?
Coach, Oregon State is in a position that you might have been in a few years ago. What advice would you give Coach Rook as far as building a program to get to such an elite level?
Well, probably the biggest advice is, he performed in the NCAA tournament the way he did. He got some experience. Now they can go on and know what it feels like to be put in a position to play in the second round. I know, they got a darn good basketball team. And when you have a point guard, and you have bigs, and you can stretch the defense out with their shooters, I think they're gonna probably win a couple of Pac-12 championships because. And I know Stanford will probably have a lot to say about that, but our team is so young and so talented, and he does a good job. He does a tremendous job of coaching them up and putting them in a position to be successful.
Got time for two more for Coach. Tim?
Don, kind of a logistical question, but are you guys going to go back to South Carolina, or are you going to stay out on the West Coast?
We're staying out on the West Coast, and I believe we're leaving tomorrow morning to go to California.
And the reason behind that was just the amount of travel that would be involved?
The reason behind that is, it doesn't really make sense for us to, fly 3,000 miles, to Columbia and then having to turn around the next day. But we do have study hall, and we have exams being proctored and, Skyping into classes. So we want to make sure we, our student athletes get the full balance of basketball and making sure they stay on top of their schoolwork.
All right, thank you, Coach.